Good morning, everyone. It's a little bit before quarter past the hour. We're going to let it get there, and then we'll get started on this 11th LinkedIn Live of 2023. Hard to believe we're in November already, but hang in there. We've got just a couple more seconds, about 10 seconds left, and then we'll get started. I'm glad you're all here. Thanks for coming. If you're here when it's live, fantastic. Give me a thumbs up. If you're watching it recorded, leave a note in the comments. I'd love to hear what you think about the presentation. We are at a quarter past the hour. Let's get started on this month's LinkedIn Live. So, from the copy that's been on LinkedIn this past 5 days or so, that today is all about vision. The copy, the words were directed towards managing partners at mid-sized law firms. That's who I work with. Those are the number one people I work with. And I also work with true solos all the way up to those folks who are managing partners at mid-sized law firms. So, hey, GC, thanks for being here, man. I really appreciate you. So let's get started. Today's all about vision. As typical, I'm going to share some slides with y'all. Two notes. Yesterday, I got both the COVID booster and the flu shot. So my left arm is a little bit dead. Second, I've got a bit of a cough from when I was over in the UK. I haven't been able to shake it. So if I go silent for a minute, you'll understand why. Let's get started. So here we are. Why vision is critical to your law practice and firm. Here's what we're going to cover today. We've got, as always, 25 minutes. We've got 13 slides. We've got two key foundational elements of any vision, whether it is for your law firm, whether it is for your law practice, whether it is for your life. There are two key foundational elements. One of those, as you can see in the next slide, is a BHAG. What is a BHAG and why you need at least one? I have three. I have one for my business, I have one for my marriage, and I have one for my life. So I've got three BHAGs. What are they and why do you need them? What are the 10 to 12 pillars of a compelling vision? You're going to learn what ought to be in your vision. It's really important that you touch all of these things, or most of them, or at least some of them, as you create your vision. And finally, we're going to wrap up with why a vision for your law practice and law firm is critical. Some of the reasons might surprise you. I'll just say that. So hang in there. Let's keep going. You're in the right place if you are unmotivated or you don't have a BHAG or two. You don't have a vision for your practice. You're just constantly head down, just on to the next thing, on to the next thing, on to the next thing, without any understanding of how it all fits together to create the thing that you want. I can't tell you how many times I've talked with lawyers, and the thing that they say is, John, I've been practicing law for 24 years. I started, and next thing I know, I picked my head up, and it's been 20 years. It's just unbelievable. That's a reason to be here, 100%, right? Because if you're just doing the work and you're not moving towards something bigger than you, then what's the point? You don't have a vision for your law practice. So you have a law firm. And if you're in a law firm, you have a practice. You should have a vision for that practice, or you don't have a vision for your firm. You struggle to excite others to work with you to achieve your vision, right? Vision is not something that you can necessarily reach on your own, right? We hear all the time, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. That means you ought to have a team, whether it's at work or at home or in your community, whatever it is, you ought to have a team. And your team should know what your vision is. If they don't know what your vision is, you're missing a tremendous opportunity. If they do know what your vision is and they're not motivated by it, you're also missing a tremendous opportunity. You're going to hear a quote from Cameron Herold, who's an executive coach. He's a mentor of mine, and he has a quote at the end of the presentation that we'll talk about the struggle to get others to come along with you. You're in the right place if you're in a multi-generational law firm. I can't tell you how many times I've had conversation with folks, partners, founders, managing partners who are of a certain vintage, let's say. And what they tell me all kind of boils down to one thing. These damn kids nowadays, right? They don't understand how to communicate with them. They don't understand what motivates them. They don't understand how to have them involved and um, excited. And so if you're in a multi-generational law firm, you're in the right place, because kids nowadays, and I use that term with all the love in my heart and all the respect that I can have for any other human being, they want different things than you wanted when you were their age. And if you don't have a vision that kind of pulls them along, you're missing the boat, and you're likely going to subject yourself to a talent drain. If you don't have a vision, you're like this boat. There's no oars. It's just kind of in the water. You let life kind of push you the way it pushes you. You let things push you the way that they push you. You're not the captain. This is a photo from just last week. I was down in Los Angeles, and I was a panel talking about leadership in LA, right by what used to be the Staples Center. Now it's Crypto Arena or whatever, right there in downtown LA. It was a fantastic event. I loved it. Had a really great time. That's what the photo is. I am a lawyer who coaches lawyers. I work with lawyers exclusively. I practiced law for 24 years. I owned a law firm and managed it for 16. I'm a professional certified coach by the International Coaching Federation. I've got some core dynamics certifications from IPEC, the Institute for Professional Excellence in Coaching. And those certifications really empower me to dive in with my clients and have them get to a future that they can't even imagine. That core dynamics is awesome. I am also trained in this neuroscience and biology of flow from the Flow Research Collective. That's Stephen Kotler's organization. Flow is, you hear athletes talk about it all the time. It's being in the zone. And what happens when we're in flow is different parts of the brain come into play, different neurochemicals are released. You're in a zone, time flies, you're ultra productive, your work product quality soars. Flow is a game changer. That's just a little bit about me. Why you must have a vision. Let's talk about this for just a second. You must have a vision, because if you don't, where are you going? What is the point? And if you tell me that the point of having a law practice is money, you and I are going to have a significant and lengthy conversation about that. And you're probably going to be asked more questions than you're comfortable with, because I'm going to get you to dive deep. What money has no intrinsic value, none at all. It's a means of exchange. Why do you want money? What's the point? Why do you want freedom? That's why you went to law school, the freedom to practice, the freedom in the area that you want, the freedom to choose the clients that you want, the freedom, the freedom, the freedom. These are the reasons that you must have a vision. There are two foundational elements to your vision, right? And what we're doing is we're going from now until later. Now, I really like the 3-year time horizon for a vision. You know, I will be honest, When I first started coaching, I would have my clients do a 10, 12, 15, 20-year vision for their lives, right? Sit down and kind of do a narrative. I still do that. And I also then have them do a more concrete 3-year vision, both for their law practice and their law firm and for their lives, because the two need to go together. They can't be adverse to each other, right? They can't be on other sides of the V if we're talking about litigation. They have to be in alignment. If they're not, then we sit down and we figure out what is the most important thing and we get them into alignment. Because oftentimes folks think, well, my vision for my life is, it doesn't have to be in alignment with my vision for my business, my law practice. That's just not true. So we work on a 3-year time horizon, and we must have a BHAG, a big, hairy, audacious goal. That's not me. That's Jim Collins. Good to Great. He's an author, well-known author, and he coined the phrase BHAG. Let's talk about BHAGs for a minute. So Jim Collins in Built to Last talked about BHAGs. And we hear about them, right? Oh, this is a moonshot, right? The cancer moonshot or things like that. I want to take you back to September 12th of 1962. On September 12th of 1962 at Rice University, President Kennedy set forth his big, hairy, audacious goal, his BHAG for reaching the moon.
They may well ask, why climb the highest mountain? Why 35 years ago, fly the Atlantic? Why does Rice play Texas? We choose to go to the moon. We choose to go to the moon in this decade and do the other things, not because they are easy, but because they are hard. Because that goal will serve to organize and measure the best of our energies and skills. Because that challenge is one that we're willing to accept, one we are unwilling to postpone, and one we intend to win, and the others too. We shall send to the moon 240,000 miles away from the control station in Houston, a giant rocket more than 300 feet tall, the length of this football field, made of new metal alloys, some of which have not yet been invented, capable of standing heat and stresses several times more than have ever been experienced, fitted together with a precision better than the finest watch, carrying all the equipment needed for propulsion, guidance, control, communications, food, and survival on an untried mission to an unknown celestial body, and then return it safely to Earth, re-entering the atmosphere at speeds of over 25,000 miles per hour, causing heat about half that on the temperature of the sun, almost as hot as it is here today, and do all this, and do all this, and do it right, and do it first before this decade is out, then we must be bold.
Then we must be bold. That's what a BHAG is all about. It's about being bold. And I want to talk just for a moment about some of the things that President Kennedy did there that are essential to your BHAG. Number one, he talked about some lofty things. We're going to do that thing, not because it's easy, but because it's hard, because it will bring us together, because it will challenge us, because it will do these things. And then he got very specific. The metal, some of which has not been developed yet, the precision, more precise than a watch. all of those things. That's what a BHAG is. If you can take what it is that you want your vision to be, your 3-year vision, and model it off of John F. Kennedy's Rice speech, just hop onto YouTube. You can find it anywhere. You will be miles and miles and miles ahead of everyone else. So let's talk about the components of a BHAG, not a BHAG, of a vision for your mid-sized law firm. You need a clear and compelling vision statement. That is John F. Kennedy, right? That is the text of his speech. His BHAG was putting a man on the moon and returning them safely to Earth before the end of the decade. That's his BHAG. And then he had a very compelling vision around it. Why do we need a compelling vision? So that we can get others to come along with us. If you're the managing partner of a mid-sized law firm, you have to get your other partners on board. If your vision is not clear and compelling, you're missing, you're losing. It needs to address the core values and culture of your firm. If you don't know what those are, invest the time and sit back and think, what do you want them to be? It should address client experience. How do you want your client experience to be at your law firm? After all, without clients, there's no law firm. Team and talent. What does our team look like? What does our talent look like? We don't just go out and hire people. We want people who are a fit. We want people who have the same core values, who like our culture, who will fit in, who understand the client experience, those types of things. It's going to, I hate to use this expression, but it's going to be a rocket ship for business development and marketing, your vision. Operational excellence. What does operational excellence look like? You might not be there today. I totally get it. It's important to define what operational excellence looks like for you and your firm and continue to work towards it. That's the whole point. Financial projections. Money, money, money. After all, business is about money, right? It's about serving others. I know. I practiced law for 24, owned a law firm for 16. I wanted to serve others, and I did. It's also about revenue. It's about financial projections. What are our financial goals, and how are we going to get there? Strategic partnerships. Who do we need on board with us? Whether it's strategic referral partners or other professionals, other high-level professionals. Community and social responsibility. What are we going to do in our community? How do we want to be known? I'm working with a client right now, and just this past week, we talked about the importance of community and social responsibility and having that message out in the public. And then, of course, metrics and KPIs, key performance indicators. All of these things are the components of a proper vision for a mid-sized law firm. Let's take a look at for a solo. Some of them are the same, some of them are different. So a clear and compelling vision statement. Again, John F. Kennedy. The BHAG is landing a man on the moon, returning him safely to Earth before the end of the decade. The other words that he used, all of the other things that he used at the end of the speech, the particulars, those are clear and compelling vision statement. Model after him. Core values and culture again. Client experience again. Practice area and expertise. This is applicable whether you're a solo lawyer or you're a partner or an associate in a mid-size or larger law firm, right? You have to decide what practice you want to have. That's the beauty of the law, is there's almost limitless opportunity and possibility. So your practice area and expertise. Again, networking and business development. How is that going to work in your vision? Operational efficiency, client-centric approach. How do we focus on our clients? What makes us different? I hear solos and small law firm lawyers talk all the time about, well, we can't compete with, the 250 lawyer firm down the road. That's not true. That's just not true. That's the story that they tell themselves. They can compete in almost every area if they have this client-centric approach and they figure out what it is. Financial goals and sustainability. CLEs, professional and personal development. What am I going to look like from an educational and experience and personal development standpoint in 3 years? How am I going to be different than I am today? We're all going to be different. You get to choose how you're going to be different. Life-work balance. Yeah. I switched the words. It's not work-life balance. It's life-work balance. Your life comes first. Period, full stop, end. I'm happy to have a conversation about it. Your life comes first. We've been kind of brainwashed. Work-life balance. That puts work in a superior position. And that ought not be the case, at least in my view and in my experience. So life-work balance and well-being. Without you as the lawyer, your clients will not be served as only you can serve them. Only you. Nobody else can serve them the way you do. You are one in now 8 billion plus people on the planet. Nobody has your life experience. Nobody has the way that you think about things. You are unique. And without you, clients are not served the best way that they can be. And so you have to figure out the proper life-work balance, and you must figure out your well-being. That should be in your vision. And finally, metrics and KPIs. Here are some things, some reasons that you have a vision, right? Some things that may not be readily apparent. Now, I coach clients all over the country. One thing is clear, right? This is November 1st of 2023. The current state of the current state of affairs is attracting top talent is a challenge. I talk with people all over the country, actually all over the world, and attracting top talent is challenging. If you have a vision and you share it with the people that you're recruiting, you're much more likely to recruit the people who are in alignment with the vision. They're going to come to you. It won't be as challenging. It'll reduce the burden. The second thing is it costs between $200,000 and $500,000 when a high-performing 3 to 5 year associate leaves your law firm. Up to $500,000. I talked before about the kids, right? Again, I love them. They just think differently than you do. They think differently than I did. And so what we're talking about here is if you can get them on board with your vision, they're going to stay. They're not going to be that hit. And they're going to be the partner and or managing partner of the future that your law firm needs. Business development. With a compelling, well-documented vision, you'll not only be focused on the clients you want to serve, but by sharing your vision with them, they'll understand who you and your firm are and what you represent. That means that the right clients, your avatars, your ideal clients, will come through the door for you, and they won't care about the fees that you charge because they will understand you at a deeper level. Money will become a secondary, if that, consideration. They're going to want to team up with you. They're going to want you to guide them through their legal challenges. Here's the quote from Cameron Herald. If your scope of your vision is too small, it's not a BHAG, or too milquetoast, it's kind of boring, or too watered down, it's not really challenging enough. It's like, ooh, I don't want to upset people, so I water it down. Or if everyone likes it, no one's going to love it. No one will love your vision. If that's the case, you have failed. There were people who fought against President Kennedy's vision. There are. Look at the history. There are people who fought against it. We don't have the money. We can't do it. All these other things. You have to have a vision that not only frightens you, but empowers you. Not only makes other people question perhaps your viewpoint or your sanity, maybe even, and they will come along with you because they want to see what happens. That's what a compelling vision is all about. And that's why you need it for your law firm or your law practice. We're at 25 minutes. You know, I honor time. It's our most valuable asset. If you want to learn more about how coaching with me can empower you to create, sell, yes, you're selling, and execute a compelling vision for your law firm and law practice, send me a message here on LinkedIn. You can put it in the comments. You can DM me. You can go to my website and send me a message. I'm happy to have a conversation with you about how we can team up to get you moving forward. It's November. 2024 is around the corner. Now's the time for you to sit down and create the vision for your future. Take care, y'all. Be well. I'll see you in December.